Start recording, go live, up. We are live, and I have to check if the audio works. So you are going to this output. Oh, there's a huge delay in the live stream, but we'll do it. We'll do with it. So this is kind of an impromptu stream because this afternoon I'll go to a birthday party. There will be some music, and she asked me to bring some lights also, and we'll do that in the exterior, so where there's no electricity. So it's in the fresh air with lots of distance and so on. So we have a mini gathering with a couple of people, and she asked me to bring some lights, and now I have to build some lights for the music. And I thought about bringing this thing. So this is a really inexpensive PAL light, for normally thought for DMX. You'll have to look about my DMX controlled DC motor to know what DMX is, how it works, and so on. But in our case, it will not be important that it's DMX. The advantage is that whenever I plug it in, the advantage it is light, and we want. So let me plug it in. I have no power on my bench. Let me enable the power on my bench. Now I have power on my bench. See, plenty of light, and it has a mode. Why do I change the mode? I think it's menu. E, okay, it's to change the colors. Flash. That's if you want to be in DMX mode. And I think, there is some mode where it reacts. Oh, so this is just blinking. No, nothing special. This is just fading. This is also just fading. Okay, and sound, yeah, okay. Sound, it's not probably very visible with the camera, but the sound mode reacts to sound. There's kind of a microphone on the board, and it reacts to sound. So even without having a super controlled DMX, we can have some basic reaction just using sound. So this is why I'll bring it. So she makes the sounds, I'll make the light. Oh, this makes the light. The issue is that it is with this plug, and this plug is not portable. If we will have no lights in the park. Yeah, I'm recording. So I will fix this. So let's write down what we make. Quick hack. Make a DMX light portable. And portable means, well, battery powered instead of AC mains input. So this will be our task. They increased it. So one solution is, well, create the AC, and for that we can use something like, I thought I had a smaller one. Something like this. This is a car inverter, so you provide 12 volt generate from the cigarette lighting, and it creates a kind of AC waveform. It creates, so it's not sinusoidal, it's an AC waveform, and it has some power. 250 watts, not a lot, but let's try it. And yeah, we need some battery. So for the battery, we can use something like this, which is just a tiny lead acid battery with 12 volt output. Yeah, 12 volt, 5 ampere hours. And if we connect this here and this here, and now we enable the output. Oh, it was enabled. Here we see a green. Use it. Oh, not so green light. Should be green, but it's not able to start. Okay, now it's starting. Let's connect. And now it's not holding. Why shouldn't be holding? I don't know what's happening with this device. Well, the connection is not maybe strong enough on there. Oh, that's fine. That should work. So it is stable. Now it's not working. Maybe this device is, yeah, when it starts, it's pumping a lot of energy, and this is not capable of delivering that. So yeah, in theory, this would be the solution. In practice, we see even that doesn't work. It just reboots all the time because this is not able to deliver lots of instantaneous power, it seems. Or else I don't know why it would be a problem. Instead of the battery, let's try to connect the power supply and see if this works. So let's remove the battery. I have to show you the power supply. So I have to, let's switch on the two USB devices. I need, so down. Down. Face. Go down. I only want to use my Ethernet interface, and let's start the script so you can see the output of the power supply. Multi dashboard, yeah. PV. Can I connect to the multimeter? Let's check if this works. I didn't try that, and I've installed a new Ruby version, and the new Ruby version requires me to install. So Ruby 3 has been out, and I'm using Ruby for the script for grabbing everything, and it requires me to install some new thing on Escape Fury. Oh, come on. This is standard. How this... Oh, I hate that. Let's check. So you will see nothing for now. Undefined method parse URI for Ruby 3. So Ruby 3 is really not ready for currently. Hence call escape. Yeah, for me it's on escape. Undefined method. Okay, so it seems to be a known issue. Intentionally remove. Yeah, it's intentionally removed. Thanks. Oh, actually, I do it wrong. I thought I use a CGI module. Oh no, I don't. Okay, so it's my fault. I know that this was deprecated, and now it's been completely removed. UT61. Escape. Escape. Where is the escape? Ah, and it's written even in my comments. Silence warning. Okay. I should have known better. But it's not me using it. Wait. Who is using this? Ah, damn it. The issue is in the MQTT client. Do I have Ruby 2? The MQTT clients. Okay, that's why I silenced it. I knew this error was here. I silenced it because it's not my error. I cannot change it. It's in the MQTT issue. It's MQTT error. Ruby gem MQTT. 05. Yeah, it's the latest. This is 4 years old. And it doesn't work anymore. Let me wait. Let me show you my full screen. So the issue here, if I start my script to read from the multimeter, you see that it can't start because OnEscape is not part of this module anymore. Yes, it's been replaced by CGI. It's been deprecated for a long time, but the problem is this is in the MQTT client. This is in the library. And this has been completely removed in 2.7, which was the previous Ruby version. It was marked as deprecated, and you had huge warning. This is why I silenced the warning, because it was in the library. I had no control over it. And now let's check if I can fix it in here. Clients 574. Here, username Yuri OnEscape, and I think it's now CGI OnEscape. It's rdoc, rubydoc. We want this. Is it in the core or is it the standard library? CGI, it's not in the core. Standard library. CGI, it's a standard library, so we need to require it in the beginning. Autoload URI. Okay. I never used autoload. Autoload CGI. CGI, something like that. I don't know. And CGI, there should be an honest. No, it's not there. Class method. Where is CGI OnEscape? No. Ruby CGI OnEscape. I can't type. CGI OnEscape rpdoc. Oh, it exists. So let's try it this way. It was 574. Reviewery OnEscape. Let's just try CGI. CGI OnEscape. CGI OnEscape. Because this is pure Ruby and not compiled library. Let's try if it works. It works. Fixed it. Do I want to push the modification to the to the main repository? Is there a main repository? Let's try to find CGI. Yep, there is. There is a GitHub. GitHub issues. I'm sure it is in the issue. 5.4 OnEscape. No, it's not. Damn it. I'm forced to do it. No one uses. I'm using Arch Linux, and Arch Linux is like bleeding edge. It uses always the latest packages, and it's using Ruby 3, which has been released a few months ago. So maybe none who use Ruby MQTT have this issue. Maybe it is just not encoded URI and yes, here, closed. Totally agree. This seems to be like URI pass-through handle. Yes, but that's not a closure. You need to fix it. That's okay. Unescaping a fix. Maybe it is fixed. Yes, it is fixed. URI. No, it's not. This is URI OnEscape. We need CGI OnEscape. So it's not fixed. So I will, it's off screen. I will have to create a pull request for this fix. But for now, we will not do that. This works. So data project. Multi dashboards. Here are all my scripts if you want to have a look at them. and I want to connect to the DPS. It is connected, and now I can switch back. I can go to home automation dashboard. Home measure. Yes. Here is the dashboard. You have a look at. See what I'm measuring. This F11 full screen. Controller larger so you can see better. And now let's switch back to the bench and we can test. It's always like this, you start something and you have to do plenty of other things, but this was a rather quick fix. I only have a couple of hours, something like 2 hours to do that. Let's see if I can make it in 2 hours. So here we connect minus, here we connect plus. We'll set the voltage to 12 volts. The ampere is the maximum, 4 ampere. Let's switch it on. It switches on, it is green. And if I connect, oh, it works. So, and it's using only 800 milliamps. Probably can see that, right? Output currents, yeah, 900 milliamps. Oh, that's weird. Here, do I read something wrong? 9. Yeah, I think the output current is the wrong value I'm passing. What you see is the watts, not the output current. The output current is 700 milliamps. And this is something like watts. Okay, so I need to fix the script later on. But for now, so this seems to work correctly. So I have no idea why it doesn't work with the battery of the car, because this can deliver a huge amount of current. Let's measure the voltage of the battery. This is plus, this is minus, and the multimeter says, it says 10.3 volts. The battery is empty. I need to charge the battery, and this is why this didn't work, because it was under the threshold, probably 11 volt threshold, and yeah, the battery is empty. So this, we've debugged this. I need to charge the battery. Not now, later. I cannot use the battery for now, but I didn't want to use the battery for now. We know that this works okay, and this is not what I want to use. I want to make it a bit portable, because a battery and an inverter, while it works, not very comfortable. And what this does, it has a switch mode power supply inside, and the switch mode power supply just converts the 230 into an internal voltage, and we'll have to figure out what the internal voltage is. So let's open the device. Can I get larger view? Yes. Oh, I do have the close-up lens. That's probably why I can't have a huge depth of field of view, depth of view. Yeah, that's why you cannot see the whole bench. So we open it this way up, and I wanted to make it battery powered, and preferably just using a USB power bank, because these are really ubiquitous. And here we are inside. So here we have the lights, here we have the switch mode power supply. I hope it is discharged. To test if it's discharged, just short. Now it is discharged. What's the output? The input is 200. So here that's the input. Here we have the input. This is just a connection to the board, and here we have the module which just takes care of. Oh, there are even the 2 pinouts. These are the inputs. With this on the back is the board which handles the light. This is a separate power supply, but it doesn't say what the output is. I can measure it. Would be ideal if it says it. Let's measure it. I want to test if it is mains connected or not, because it shouldn't. It shouldn't be passive. Well, we never know. This is the cheapest I could find. I want to test if line or neutral is connected to the output. I don't think so, because there's a transformer. Sure, there's a Y capacitor, but this is just to suppress the noise. So it should be completely isolated. We will still check it. And it somehow has to be isolated, because here you have pins. And one of them is ground. And if it wouldn't be isolated, ground will be mains referenced, and you would get zapped. But with these kind of devices, you shouldn't trust that. You should measure it. So on 5 volt, is it connected to this? No. Connected to the other pin? No. And the ground connected to one pin? No. No. So yeah, it is switch mode power supply, and as it should be, it is isolated, so we are fine. What's good also is if we provide, let's measure now the voltage input. Since we have high voltage up, I'll put some gloves on, so I cannot shock my, although I don't have to put some gloves on. What I can do is use my isolation transformer. Up, isolation transformer on, power from the isolation transformer. This way I don't have to put gloves on, and I won't be zapped with a lot of electricity. This is on, and this should be on. I have power output. Okay, it is not on because I've disconnected that. Let's see what the output is. I expect something like either 5 volt or 12 volts. Probably because there are a lot of LEDs, it might be 12 volt. And there should be a regulator on the bottom. Up. You don't see anything. There's probably a regulator on the bottom to convert the 12 volts to 5 volt again. So let's check. And it is, I have to go on volts. Yes, as expected, 12 volts. So we need a step-up converter to convert for the power bank, which is 5 volts up to 12 volts. I want to figure out how much power it draws when everything is on. So let's connect the power supply. White is plus. You see it on the seal screen on the side. We have plus. This is white, and this is the connector. The connector was connected on the right, so this is white. White is plus, white is plus. We connect it to switch off the power supply. Connect plus, minus. Minus lead. Connect minus to the power supply. Minus, and up. Minus. I'll limit the currents to 1 amp. Amp. 300 milliamps. Is this with all the lights on? Yeah, it's 300 milliamps. Yeah, right, you don't see 300 milliamps, you see the watts, you don't see the milliamps. I need to fix my script. Is it on the script? Yes, I'm passing the wrong number. I see where the right number is, but I'm passing the wrong one. Maybe I can fix it quickly. I see it here. Vim. DPS. Let's output voltage, output currents. 3, 4, something like that. DPS. Okay. And the current is now correct. This is okay. Now you see the output current. Although not all the time. I don't know what's happening from time to time, but yeah, this is I don't know what. Sometimes it goes to 0. Maybe when it doesn't pass, it goes to 0. I must debug it. Set current is correct. Output current should be fine. While why does it say it's 0? This is weird, but for now I won't debug it. It's using around 400 milliamps, and 400 milliamps is something good because let's have a look at this box. This is my voltage regulator box, and in here we have boosters. I have really large boosters for everything which is 1 amp. I don't want to use these because I don't have a lot anymore. I have lots of buck converters. Most of them are buck, and I think I only have 1 boost converter remaining. So these can probably handle something like 3 amp. It's written here, yeah, 3 amp, the boost converter. But I want to use this one. It says 2 amp divided by 2 because don't trust them. This should be able to output something like 1 amp. And I still have some of them left, but I need more. I have 4 of them left. Order some. They really go away really fast. I thought I ordered some. Yeah. So we will check if it works with this. What we need to do is set it to 12 volts output. So we have here a USB plug. This is the input, and now we should have voltage on the output. There's volts, voltage plus here, voltage minus here. It's 13 volts. We'll decrease it 12 volts. Should see on the multimeter, but you don't see what I'm doing. I'm just turning on the knob of the potentiometer to decrease the voltage 12 volts. Okay, now there's 12 volt output, and we will try to see if we can output, if this works good enough. Up, up, up. So that's the out will be minus. We will connect minus of this lead to the minus of the board. Minus of this lead, a plus to the plus here, that's the output. And if we connect USB, we should see up. Oh, we hear really loud switching noise. This switching, I don't know if you let me put it close to the microphone. No, the noise gate removes it. But this switching noise is really loud. Yeah, it doesn't like. It does work though. I don't know if it works that well. Let's check with the multimeter. As it should be. The 14 volts and it's oscillating. Let's lower it. I think capable of handling this current. I don't think that this is how it should act. No, I think. And now it's shut down. Okay, no, it's only shut down. Outputs 13. It's outputting 13 volts whenever it's loaded, and when it's not loaded, it's loading at. Yeah, you see, it's not capable to handle this amount of current. And whenever it's connected, it goes up to 14 volts. It doesn't cope with the load. So this tiny supply is not capable of handling the 500 milliamps at 12 volts. So we will have to use something bigger, and I hope I still have some of them. So these are the XL. I have 1 of them left. Okay, that's my last one. I did order some others, but that's my last one. All the other ones are converter. So all of these are buck converter. I have one boost converter remaining, and this should be able to handle 3 amps in theory. We'll test it in practice. So we have to provide 5 volts to this board, provide it with crocodile clamps. Input minus, input plus. Set the voltage to 5 volt. That's the input, 1 amp. We need to measure the outputs. Output minus, output plus, output. There's no output. Weird. Why wouldn't there be any output? Ah, I switched minus and plus on the input. Ooh, that's bad. It survived it? Yes, it does. And the output right now is at 26. I go up, down is this way. Okay. 12. Down. Down. There's a kind of a lag because there's a capacitor it needs to regulate, and there's no load also. Unloaded, it has issues with coping that, so we will load it. What was plus, what was minus? Plus was yellow and minus white. Now there's a load, and this also makes noise. Okay, but a tiny bit of noise, it's not a lot. And the noise comes from, because I'm using a switch mode power supply, I think bottom there's also a second switch mode power supply. Oh, reset. But it's a lot more stable. Here you see the light not flickering, and you see on the multimeter it is also well regulating on 12 volts. This way. Let's put it to 12 volt exactly. Because we there's a tiny bit of noise of ringing, and this is just because of the oscillation, but it's not very loud and it is stable, and normally it handles the current. So what does the USB says? No, here. So the input is 800 milliamp input for all the lights on. That's fine, because the power banks very often can output 1 amp, and we can test it afterwards. We can test it maybe now even. If it works with a power bank, we switch this off. Tack. I use this cable, which is just USB to crocodile clips. Up. This, don't make the mistake again. This is minus. This is plus. We have USB. Let's try USB right here just to test if USB works. Okay, it works. The contact is not very good. It says on my USB, which you don't see, but on my USB power bank, no, it's not a power bank, USB regulator, it says also 800 milliamps. So this is correct. Let's try it with some batteries. I have 2 of them. I have even 3 of them. No, let's just try with the 2. So this is just a modified power board where you have USB-C input and output. You can charge. Oh, you should charge it here, but you can also probably charge it here. You have 2 outputs. Let's see if this works. Yeah, it worked with this battery. And this is just a battery I got from a phone. my Nokia phone. But it works. The output is large enough. And now we have kind of a portable USB light. Try it with this one. This one has two outputs, probably they're all same fuse. And it works also with this one. We have portable lights. At least the proof of concept works. Now, how will we do it? We will... So this cable was connected to the right. It seems there's a second footprint where plus and minus have been switched. Let's verify with the multimeter if this is the case. Go into continuity mode. It beeps when I close, and if I connect plus here, probably it's connected to plus there. Yeah, and minus here to minus there. Yeah. So these are just two different pinouts depending on which one has plus and minus. So we can connect directly here with one of the pins. I have plenty of these cables. Here my box with one time something connector. And I should have, yeah, still have a couple of them. Not a lot, but yeah. They're there to be used. These are XH connector. And if I plug it here, it should work, yes, but the pin configuration is the wrong. So I will change it because I know that I will make the mistake if I don't read it correctly. Is this good enough? Let's use a needle. I'll just open. I'll just switch. Like, press on the tab. Locks it normally in place. Something other. Poke at it. This work? I think this will work. No, but I have some other tools. These are my dental picks, and they have weird forms. I think they are there to make dent replacements. Now I can't press on it. Yeah, one is gone. Two, and now let's plug it the other way around. This is plus, it's holding tightly in. Minus, it's holding in. And normally we can connect here inside. Now it's the right way around. So we have the cable going here. I think this is protected. I think if you apply 12 volts here, it doesn't damage the chip. I hope it doesn't. Let's try it. If I output 12, if I input 12 volts on the output, what does it do? Voltage set 12 volts. Okay, nothing. It's probably just on, but it doesn't do anything. So that's fine. It also probably doesn't reverse the current, so you don't have 5 volt output. So we have this, and what I want to do is have a USB connector on the outside, so we can connect just a micro USB cable. And for that I have, what is my USB box? Here is USB. My USB box. I have these pins, this bag, and these are quite nice because these are just micro USB receptacles with only 2 pins on the outside. They have long tabs, so they can be really through-hole mounted, and they have only the 2 power pin. I never remember which is plus, which is minus, but I will kind of use epoxy glue. Is my epoxy glue really fast? Yes, it is. I'll use epoxy glue. I will make a hole somewhere. Where is it the easiest? Let's disconnect this. Oh. Did I break the screw? I didn't. Can I disconnect? No, it's soldered. It's soldered on? Don't know. Maybe it's soldered on. Let's not disconnect it. We have space next to the DMX connectors. So let's put it next to the DMX, something down here. And we will do it not with drilling, but with the trusty burning method. And burning means using the soldering iron and melt the plastic. Yeah, soldering iron with this spare tip here. That's ideal. It's probably even the right size. A bit smaller, but we'll just wiggle around. Remove this good tip for soldering. We put the bad tip for cutting in plastic. Add some water to the sponge, which is full of rusts. Switch on the soldering station. This is a Quico T12 soldering iron, a soldering station. Inexpensive and good. And this is set to 320 degrees. 320 degrees should be fine for cutting plastics. Do we put it on the MX on? So we will have the micro USB. I don't hear anymore. You can hear. And then we have this module. So it's probably nice to have the micro USB here. So we have the input going here. Then I can use some some glue. How can I hide this from on the side here? Somewhere here. Then I will hot glue it. Micro USB will go here. It's better when it's short. What can I put it here? I don't like it that it's next to the AC cable. Although there is protection. That's fine. And then is this cable long enough? And up the leads. Also better inside. This long enough to go from here to here? It is. So yeah, we can put it here and we can glue it here. So now we need to make the hole here. Ah, damn it. Here I have some notes. Because this is, although it says it's DMX is normally RS485, which is a differential voltage. This is not RS485. RS485, you just have to need 1.8 volts, 1.5 volt difference between the different channels. This requires a level of at least 3 volts. It's using TTL logic, which most DMX module provide, but not none of them. And this is how I found out that this is not real DMX. What do you expect for this price? They want to remove this RS485 transceiver and just connect the pins directly. So, we can still make it here. So it's even better. Like this, but this is fixed. We can have it here. And still have the input, and then the output is here, but the cable is long enough. Let's do it this way. Up. So, trusty soldering iron. Start to melt plastic. Nothing in my way. Let's put it where I have plenty of space. Yeah, top of the connector. And it goes through the plastic slowly. That's fine. Not in a hurry for now. Don't breathe these plastic fumes. I don't think they're good. I'm sure they're not good. Let's wait until it. Is there a marking of what kind of plastic it is? No, there's no marking. It doesn't feel like ABS, the melting, because it's still holding. I don't know what this kind of plastic is, but normally you inject ABS. I don't know what it is. Let's clean it. Right. I'm sure it's not large enough for it to fit. Oh, maybe it is. Not completely. Still a tiny bit. But that's just because of that. I need to have something which is smaller than a large cutter. Let's get this. Okay. That's now cleaned. On this side it looks okay. I really don't like that I cannot disconnect these lights. Up. Now it should fit. Oh no, it doesn't. Still doesn't fit. Not a lot missing though. That's dangerous. Let's clean the tip. Open folder. This. Up. Now it fits. The problem with this connector now is being able to glue it. I want to glue it with epoxy because it has to withstand plugging and unplugging. Problem is that epoxy will probably go on the inside, and to avoid that we will just use a micro USB cable and put it on the inside and hope that it doesn't stick too much in the end. So micro USB, let's use a cable I'll never use again, something like that. Micro USB box. We will. So the problem is on the inside you don't want these holes and these holes to be covered in glue, because else you won't be able to plug the device anymore. What you can do is insert this, and this kind of covers the holes here. What we also need to do is solder the cables already, plus and minus. So the second soldering iron on, which is really there for soldering, and I will use thick gauge cable, AVG20 silicon cable, and we will solder plus and minus, and I have to remember which is plus and minus. This is ground, this is ground, 5 volts. We will check it. I have a cheat sheet above my desk, but we will still check it, and if I am correct, it should read 5 volts. Volts. Does it? Yes, it does. So I'm correct. Ground plus wire stripper. theory, you should put some heat shrink, but here we don't because it will be covered in epoxy. We don't need to add some heat shrink. This soldering iron is done. I don't need it anymore. I need this soldering iron. Let's use some lead-based solder. I need water here. Let's thin the pads to be sure not to excel. Okay, they're fresh enough. Let's thin this. This is not completely tinned. That's minus. ABG20 is an overkill, but at least this won't be the issue. So for power, use ABG20. For data, use ABG30. 30 should also be fine for these kinds of power. 1 amp, efficient. Minus. This is connected. The need don't need to be too long, but let's leave them long for now so we can cut whenever we want afterwards. 1, 2. This is fine. I won't put any shrink because it will probably be covered with epoxy. Up. So let's put the plug in this way. Oh, putting epoxy here will be a pain. Is it really? Yes, I really want to disconnect that. Okay, this can be disconnected. Because it's in the way. Like it's okay, it is disconnected. And the marking on here have absolutely nothing to do with the marking with the colors of the cable. This goes here. We can put it back in. This goes here. But there is my tiny scalpel. This on this side should fit correctly though. Right. Good, that it means it's not too loose. We don't want too loose because if it's too loose, then we don't feel anything. Too slippery. Fun. Okay, so this looks fine. This way, we want it the other way around. Okay, USB connector is there. Which way doesn't really matter. Here we plug this in, so hold it back. And in theory, now I just need to add plenty of epoxy. I could, oh, maybe it's better, maybe it's strong enough. Do I want to add hot glue and not epoxy? Epoxy is stronger, but there's a plenty of case on the back side. Hot glue might be sufficient. I still need the hot glue for the other module, but on this one, let's put epoxy. Let's do it halfway. Problem with epoxy. It sticks maybe too much. We'll check it out. so we still need hot glue for afterwards. So let's have it heated up. You go here, you heat up. And we want epoxy. Here we have 2-part epoxy. I need a mixing stick, which is just a toothpick. Let's use plastic toothpick because it has kind of a spatula. Plastic toothpick, my 2-part epoxy. Made in China. I'm from China. It's good enough. Is it because Chinese? 5 minutes. That's drying really quickly. But I recognize this symbol. This is probably so. There are plenty of. I know in Japanese this means minutes because on noodles, this is what I was looking for. How long you have to cook the noodles in a box. So in Japanese, I knew 3 symbols. This one is one of them. It means minutes. Up. We need some bits of paper. Mix everything on. Put the epoxy, and what I don't like here is that one goes out faster than the other. Yeah, right. I press on the left, but the glue on the right for now goes out. And afterwards it changes. Once the one on the right is out, the one on the left starts. Will come. Slowly out. And I only have 5 minutes before it starts. So come. Still gushing out. So it's not half-half normally, it should be half-half. I think that's the light gushing. This is half-half. It's still a bit gushing out. Yeah, good enough. Have to be perfectly half-half, and it is smelling like epoxy. Let's mix it. This should be enough. Okay. Now it starts making blob. Good. It's really sticky. That's sticky. And now let's try to put this epoxy on the connector. Important is plastic, and it goes on the tab. Come on, stick on the plastic. Okay, rest. I have more on my stick then. Yeah. We will add some hot glue afterwards also. I don't put underneath plastic. Second toothpick. Push it on the plastic. Okay, let's make this straight. And we'll have to wait 5 minutes for this epoxy to cure. Not perfect, we will add hot glue afterwards. But it should help strengthen up. I want this to be a bit more covered. And I leave this on the side, and this will be my witness, and I will know when it is ready because this one is ready. But we have 10 minutes. We have to wait for 10 minutes, and while we wait for this 10 minutes, we can prepare this module. So let's put this aside. Connector is okay. This way, let's solder that. So this is in, this is out. Out minus. Should be black. Solder. This out plus. It's holding tight. I will prepare the shrink tube because when I put so here in the box there is mains and I don't want it to touch mains if the glue gets loose. That's why I will put this module shrink tube. Is this one big enough? Should be, probably. Let's cut it. Where's my pair of scissors? There should be one here. It's not anymore. I'll find it next time. Just if this shrink tube is good enough. We still have plenty of time for the epoxy to cure. Maybe not. Maybe I need something bigger. Come on. It fits over the capacitor. It doesn't fit over this side. That's a shame. Maybe we can do it in two parts. Yeah, fits over here. Doesn't fit over here. Maybe if we convince it a tiny bit, it might fit. Let's convince you. Not ideal. This kind of working though. And we still have. Is this screw connected to something? Do we have to protect it or not? That's the question. Let's protect it. I have a tiny bit. The problem is the heat shrink, which is a bit larger, might be too large. Let's use it. But we'll put it after we solder the other cable from the USB plug, and that I have to wait until it is dry. Yeah, we'll put it this way. And we will heat shrink it. So we have to wait. The glue is melting my boxes. Which box is this one? It's not. Seems to be this one, but it shouldn't be the box for this. It shouldn't be the cover for this one. It's not the right cover. Huh, that's weird. So, is this getting hard? Yes, it is getting hard. Let's still wait 5 minutes because this is very so whoop, listen. So this is already hard, but this is a very thin layer. Here it's a bit larger, so let's wait 5 more minutes for it to dry better. And then we can solder these cables. Do I want to shorten them? No, I can leave it this way. Yeah, I see it's getting hard. Side. What if I poke at it? Yes, it's getting hard. Not completely hard, but we can work on the cables meanwhile. Short cables is better, although it is. I can have the luxury of having long cables because it is HVG20. Normally, you want, whenever you have power, you want short cables because you don't want them to. They have some resistance, and when there's a lot of currents, it's not a good idea to have long ones. Here we have HVG30. The resistance is very low, and it's multi-stranded, so it's plenty enough. And we can have the luxury of having longer cables, and this allows us to work with them a bit better. And I think it's even too large for this. Can it go in? Not completely. That's plus. That's solder plus. Have some stray whiskers on the side. Let's try to mitigate them by putting bits of solder. Probably. Okay, whiskers mitigated. Minus. Oh, minus it went completely. Ah, and now it's out. Minus. Minus. Solder it in. Ah, I know it doesn't flow very well. There's a huge solder copper plane which removes the. So this holds well. Yes, whisker mitigated. And now let's try. We have the USB plug from the holding structure, so it makes contact. So we can try if it has 12-volt output. Let's switch it off for now. Connect power to USB. And someone is yelling on the outside. Is not happy about it. I don't know why. Not sure if the yelling helps. But it's his choice. Okay. Now. Let's switch on. 12 volt. Plus minus. So the contact works. That's a good indication. So we can shrink everything. Let's heat shrink one after the other. First, let's heat shrink this. So, hot air gun set to 200 degrees. Yeah, that's my hot air gun. 100 degrees, and yep, it shrinks. And this kind of plastic doesn't look nice, but it will kind of act as a strain relief. And a guard for the high voltage not to come in. Switch off the soldering iron normally. And where's the second plastic? Here. I hope this one is not too large. Let's see. Oh, seems okay. Seems to hold fine. It is a lot more solid though. Okay. Switch off the hot air. This is now protected from mains. There's no way that the wire will connect directly. Let's test again if it's still 12 volts. This should still be on, right? No, it's off. On. Oh, 12 volts. And normally, if I connect it, it should light up LEDs, which I don't have, but at least it should light up this display. So let's switch off. Next, let's switch on, and this lights up. And now the stress test is with, or the real test is with these LEDs. Up, LEDs are on. Yes, there's light. So let's change the mode to sound. Sound. And it works. Mode is almost complete, and now it's the most hazardous part, checking if I can remove and replug this cable. No, I can't. Wiggle on it a tiny bit. I can actually leave the cable this way, but it'd be really nice. Oof. Come on. Okay. I was able to remove the cable. I've even removed this part. Let's see if I can still plug it in. This way. And I plugged it in, but I broke the epoxy. The epoxy is not holding on anything. Yeah. It is holding when you pull on it, but not when you push. So for the pushing part, we will just add plenty of hot melt glue. That's the solution to all the electronics problem in the world, hot melt glue, except for the silicon shortage. Plenty of glue. It's even empty, so I need to get a new glue stick. Let's put this, that's okay, I have to put this back on. The whole fine like this, and we have to wait plenty of time until this glue sets. What we can use is use a blower, because I don't want to wait too long. Blow, blow, blow. I did have plenty of fans. Well, not on YouTube, I have no fans, because no one is in the chat. But I have rotating fans, if I would find them again. Where did I put all my fans? Ferrite spring, connector PCB edge, motors. UVC, here, I know I had, here. A huge fan available. Like this. Perfect. I just need to provide power. I think it's 12 volts. use pins from here. Has it 12 volt or 5 volt? Is it written on it? No, it's not written on it. That seems to be a 12 volt connector. But which one is which one? I don't know. Randomly. With 5 volt first. Not fast enough, we can still put it to 12 volts. That's the wrong way. That's still the wrong way. Ah. Now it is turning. It's not fast, so it is 12 volts. And we see the LED. It's shiny. It draws here, and it pushes here. It draws, yeah, it draws. Ah, I needed some hot melt glue stick. Yeah. I should have used the black one. Ah. Transparent is also okay. What's good is not too noisy. And can visually check. Needs to be, it's still too clear. Be a bit more translucent. Then I can add a second layer of hot melt glue. Can even poke at it. Something out. Is it poke resistant? No, it's not poke resistant. It's not enough. I should write on the plus which is minus. I have time. So let's do it. White pen. This is plus 12. This is round. Double for me. So pokeable. Yeah, now it's good enough. So let's add the second layer. And have some attach point here. Just add it. Oop, don't want to burn the cables. Let's add it next to the cables. Click, go in. Another attach point there. That should be enough. Attach points, which holds it back. So let's put the fan for express cooling. Now, don't switch the heat gun because we don't know if it works or not. And now we wait. And we have MS. But what I can do meanwhile is I also have this LED strip. Let me show you. So these are RGB LEDs, but they are individually addressable and individually controllable. You can see they're water resistant, so ideal for the outside. Here they have the 20 WS2812 chips, and you can address them with a board like this. So this is an ESP8266 board. They wrote WeMOS, it's not a real WeMOS, and you can use the VLED. The problem with these boards, the cheap Chinese knockoffs, VLED doesn't work well with them. There's one version which I made by hand which works. I don't know why it works, but it does. And if we connect it to USB, yes, we have some addressable LED, and not all of them though. There are 2, 10, 20 of them are missing, so I need to configure the 20 others, and for that I will use my phone. So VLED is a really nice firmware for controlling the LEDs. They have some ready-made animations and so on. So that's my phone. I will not show you what I have on it right now. For now. So I need to connect, so it opens, you can configure, by default it opens an access point, and I should be able to connect to the access point. Yes, connect to it, obtaining IP address, sign into network. Work as is. Let's connect to it. And it looks like this VLED, so I have a custom version. It's not the latest version, but it's good enough control. Now I want to configure, and there are 20 LEDs missing. LED preferences. There are 30, probably 20 are missing, so let's change that to 50. And I can input 2 amps, not for now, but later I will be able to. That's the change. So let's save, and now we have all the LEDs on, and it draws only 500 milliamps for now, but this is probably because LED settings saved, redirecting. Okay, back, AD to the controls. Now we can change the color. Can't we? Connection failed. Okay. Let's connect again to the board. Maybe I'm drawing too much current. But yeah, that's the issue, is I'm drawing everything through the USB, through this microcontroller. Not a good idea, but it has, I saw a cable. Where is it? I saw some leads dedicated to that. That's the next bit. Here. Here we have 2 leads for power, and we will connect it to USB. So we can switch on the soldering iron, we can use the USB connectors here in my box. I do have some USB connectors, not USB 3. Something like this. This allows me to make cables, and I can just have a cable to USB. So I need some long, kind of, no, not too long because it's very portable, it's meant, but long enough power cables. Do I have some nice power cables? This is far too large. I don't need that large. Here we have some, but I want to be 2-in-1. I don't want it to be an open sleeve. This is too thin. It's too thin. This is very thin. Still want something large. These data cables, these are data cables I'm looking at right now. Not good enough. I know what I could use. It's maybe too large. I forgot about this one. This large extension cord. And what is this? What is this? This could be a bill. Oh no, this is something else. I have this super large extension cord, so USB on plug, USB receptacle, and a very large extension. But I don't want to use this for now. Don't I have some other cable? This could be enough. Yeah. Maybe a bit too long, but we can always cut it shorter. But this looks a nice cable for power. Not sure if it's meant for power. So this cable, this has a shield and a core, so it looks like a coaxial cable for probably data. Use it for power. And we will use half of it. That's long enough. So half of it. Put this back on the table where I need to put all the stuff. Wow, yeah, this is really thick. This will have no issues carrying all the power. Up. No issues at all. So this will load in the cable, and again on USB I have to check which is plus, which is minus. If I look at it this way, this is ground. Yeah, this side is ground. Left is ground. So the soldering iron is warm. You're not seeing what I'm soldering because my table is cramped. Fine. This ground. I'm just putting. Show it and turning on here. This I will tin it. Soldering correctly. So we will put the outer shield with plus and the inner shield with the outer shield with ground and the inner shield with plus, like this. We'll check if it's still the case. It's correct on the other side. Outer. Inner. If we plug it to USB, this will be our cable, and if we plug it to... no, not plug it. Solder it afterwards. Outer shield should be minus, and the inner core should be plus. Let's measure it with the multimeter. Let's plug to USB. Is this USB on? Not yet. Now it is on. Where are the multimeter leads? My desk is looking like a huge mess. So outer should be minus. And should be plus. Is it the way? Yes. So this is correct. Let's put USB off. Here we have the cable, and I will put some shrink tube. So this will not be voice controlled, but at least it will be some mood lights. I can change the effects. Shrink tube. Plenty of it. I can switch off the fan. That should be clean for now. Shrink tube. This looks nice. A bit too thick. It's a bit thick. This less thick, but thick enough. Yes, and I will put some over both cables. This is far too thick for both cables, but I have a new one. I've ordered some 5mm. And that 5mm should fit perfectly our needs. Yeah, I think 5mm is fine. Put over both of them afterwards. And for now, we can have 2 parts. 1, 2. Up. You go here. Shrink tube goes here. We need to tin the wires, at least on the coax side. On the other side, they should be fine. So, always important, and I always almost forget, put the shrink tube before solder. 1, 2. I hope I didn't test, but I hope that red is plus. Is it? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Red is plus. Okay, that's fine. No, it's not. I forgot to put this other shrink tube. 5mm one. So core plus. Up, shrink tube over it, and heat gun. This is in the way. I have to put it somewhere where I don't use it anymore. Yeah. Heat gun. Plus, I should heat after I've tested soldering and the power though. Immediately heat the other one. Minus. This is minus. Soldering contact is too large. Okay. So before we that, so here is the module. Normally the voltage should be fed feedback here. It should have 5 volts back. So like here, if I enable USB, if this goes on, then we're correct. This goes on, the LED go on. We're correct. So let's finish this. Shrink tube. Shrink tube. Switch off the soldering iron. Here we have both shrink tubes, and then we have on top, and it's This should be 3-to-1 shrink tube. That means that it's thick, but it should do the job. Good enough. It's on the coax cable. On the other cable, that's okay also. Not super tight, but it's tight enough. Switch off the soldering iron, switch off the hot air station. Let it cool a tiny bit. Until that we can enable this again and try. Oh yeah, the glue is set. The glue now set. I can try to plug and unplug and hope that it holds. So unplug is not an issue because the epoxy holds the tab correctly. It's the plugging now I'm afraid of. But yes, plugging, unplugging, plugging, that's nice. Let's plug to USB. Let's check if it still goes on. It goes on. So we need to put this inside and glue it so it doesn't rattle too much. Do we glue it this way or do we glue it this? Yeah, I think we'll do it this way. Let's disconnect this for now. So yeah, we'll do it this way. This gives me kind of the possibility to still change the voltage by twiddling on this on the thing, but no, we can't. Okay, we'll have to do it this way. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it holds. Now I need somehow to make this hold, and the solution for that is hot melt glue here, here, and here. Hot glue, and it will probably even melt the plastic. Shrink tube plastic. 1 point. Hope it doesn't too much. 2 points, and the third one will be here. It doesn't have to be very stable, it just has not to rattle. 3 points. Doesn't melt the plastic, that's a good thing. So let's switch on the fan again and let it cool. Probably add another service of glue afterwards. At least on this part, this like too much. Yeah, that should hold. That should hold well. Okay, so this USB works. Let's try it again. The USB cable. Here, USB. This is on. It works perfectly, and I can even increment the lights. So and make some effects. Let's see if it works. Let's have it connected back to the LED. WLED, sorry. WLED, sign in. Sign in. To the controls and have some. So here they have all the same color, but we can make an effect. Color palette, sync, info, effects here. We don't need segments. Thank you. Rainbow. Not looking nice. Colorful. This is colorful. Nice. Twinkles. That's probably a nice effect. And then I can really increase the so it's using 200 milliamp, but I can really increase the brightness. Now it's using something like 500 milliamps, but they're not on all the time. And yes, this is bright enough, particularly in the night. Yeah, if you look at it, plenty bright. And this will make some nice effect for the party. All the party. A relaxing gathering with a bit of music and a bit of light. And yes, I'm in time. I wanted to be finished for 4 o'clock, before 4 o'clock, and I am. So I still work a bit before I go there. Oh, we're not finished though. I have to. So this project is finished, but the other one is not. So this project is done. This is not done yet. Still need to wait. Yeah, you see that the. Oh. Oops, I'm breaking everything now. Off. You see that the glue becomes kind of opaque when it's solder. When it's cool. When it's liquid, it is kind of translucent. So I know it's fine. And now I connect this to this. We will screw that back together, and then we will make the final test. We have 4 screws normally. I only see 3 screws, so I might have lost one. These are self-tappers, no metal inserts, so they're not meant to be screwed and unscrewed too often. But yeah, this couple of time, that's okay. 1, 2, 3. Ah, here's the 4th one, so I have all of them. 1, 2, 3, and okay, this one doesn't hold anything anymore, so the tap is gone on this one. This one holds, no, not a lot. Now is the final test. Also, we want to test if it still works with the normal power, so with the plug. Let's plug it in. Normal plug works. USB. Works. Now I have a portable light. And can I feed both of them so I have 2 batteries? Maybe it doesn't draw too much power and I can connect them on the 2 sides. Let's connect this here, and let's test if this power bank can handle both of them. Yes. 1 power bank with 2 outputs can handle both of them, but I will still bring the 2nd power bank and maybe a 3rd one, so we're sure. But yes, with that the project is done. I've changed this power LED lights and no, it doesn't. There was too much current. Yeah, too much current. This went to shutdown mode. Yeah, too much current for one device. But I have 2 of them. This one doesn't work anymore. What's happening with this one? Do I have to reset it? Oh, the battery was empty. Come on. Was there a short? Battery was charging for a long time. This is charging again, so the battery was kind of empty. Okay, I'll have a couple of hours to charge it. And else I'll just use other power banks. I think enough people have power banks. But with that, the project is finished. My quick hack for today is done. My bench is like always a mess. I will clean it up tomorrow morning, in the morning. But we are done for today. So I will end the stream up. So let's go to the outro and maybe see you for the next stream at some other points. Enjoy.